Dr. Ethan Porter had seen a lot in his 8 years as a paramedic, but nothing quite prepared him for the emergency call that would change his life forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. The dispatcher's voice was calm but carried an unusual weight. Medic 47. We have a code at the Grandview Hotel, room 512. Female, mid-30s, severe abdominal pain and difficulty breathing. Patient is a high-profile guest. Handle with discretion. Ethan exchanged a glance with his partner, Rodriguez, as they pulled up to the luxury hotel, its glass facade glittering coldly under the city lights. High profile usually meant complicated. Celebrities, politicians, business moguls, they all wanted the same level of care as everyone else, but with added privacy and often unrealistic expectations about what emergency medicine could do. The hotel manager met them in the lobby, practically wringing his hands, his face a mask of professional concern, barely hiding panic.
Please be discreet.
Miss Chambers is a very important guest. She's the CEO of Chambers Technologies. This could be very bad for our reputation if word gets out that— Sir, Ethan interrupted firmly but politely, his focus already shifting to the elevator banks. My concern is the patient's health, not your hotel's reputation. Which way? They were directed to the 5th floor, their equipment in tow, the plush carpet muffling their hurried steps. When they entered room 512, Ethan's breath caught for just a moment. The woman on the bed was beautiful, even in profound distress. Blonde hair disheveled, her red silk dress twisted around her. One hand clutched to her abdomen, the other gripping the sheets so tightly her knuckles were white. Her face was pale, a sheen of sweat on her forehead, but her eyes were sharp, alert, and currently filled with a potent mix of pain and fear. Miss Chambers, I'm Ethan Porter, lead paramedic. This is my partner, Rodriguez. Can you tell me what's happening? Isabel, she gasped, her voice strained. Call me Isabel. The pain, it started about an hour ago. Right side, lower abdomen. I thought it was just food poisoning, but it's getting worse. And I can't take a deep breath without it hurting. Ethan's mind immediately raced through the differential diagnosis as he knelt beside the bed, his hands already moving to check her vitals with practiced efficiency. Appendicitis, ovarian cyst, ectopic pregnancy, kidney stone, something worse. Any chance you could be pregnant? He asked matter-of-factly, his fingers on her wrist finding a rapid, thready pulse, elevated. No, she said definitively, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. Not possible. Okay, Isabel, I need to examine your abdomen. This might hurt, but I need to know where and how much. Can you lie back for me? Isabel tried to comply, but even the slight movement made her gasp, a sharp, raw sound that filled the opulent room. Ethan's trained eye caught everything. The way she instinctively guarded her right side, the shallow, panting breaths that avoided full lung expansion, the pallor of her skin that spoke of more than just pain. It hinted at impending systemic shock. As his hands pressed gently but firmly on her abdomen, starting away from the pain, he felt the telltale rigidity, the muscle guarding that screamed peritonitis. When he palpated the lower right quadrant, she cried out, a jolt of pure agony, and recoiled, a positive McBurney's sign if he ever saw one. Rodriguez, let's get her on the monitor and start a line. Normal saline, wide open. I need BP and SpO2 now. Rodriguez moved swiftly as Ethan leaned close to Isabel, maintaining eye contact. Isabel, I believe you have acute appendicitis, and it may have ruptured. That's why the pain is so widespread and your breathing hurts. Your body is going into a defensive mode. We need to get you to the hospital immediately for surgery. Her eyes widened with a new kind of fear, the fear of losing control. I have a board meeting tomorrow. I can't. You can't do anything if you're septic, Ethan said, his voice gentle but unyielding. Your life is the priority right now. The monitor beeped, showing a rising heart rate and a dropping blood pressure. The clinical data confirmed his worst suspicions. They worked quickly to secure her to the gurney, administering pain relief and antibiotics. en route to stabilize her as much as possible. In the ambulance, with the sirens wailing, Isabel's alertness began to wane. Between waves of pain, she looked at Ethan, her gaze searching his face. "You're very good at this," she murmured, "keeping people calm." "It's part of the job," he said, adjusting her oxygen mask. "Just focus on staying with me, okay?" The rest was a blur of controlled chaos. The swift handoff at the ER, the urgent consult with the surgeon, the rush to the operating room. Ethan filed his report, but he couldn't shake the image of her frightened eyes. Against protocol, he called the hospital a few hours later. The nurse confirmed a ruptured appendix, a successful laparoscopic surgery, and that Miss Chambers was stable but would remain in ICU for observation due to the significant infection. A week later, a handwritten letter arrived at the station, addressed to Ethan. It was on thick, elegant stationery. "Dr. Porter, you saved my life. Your calmness and competence in that hotel room gave me something to hold. Hotel room gave me something to hold on to when I was terrified. I'm informed that another hour could have been fatal. Thank you seems insufficient, but it is sincerely offered. Perhaps when I am discharged I could thank you in person. Sincerely, Isabel Chambers." Rodriguez whistled. "CEO of a tech giant. That's not a thank you card you get every day." Ethan smiled, folding the letter carefully. It was a reminder, a powerful one, that beneath the labels, high profile, the CEO, paramedic, they were all just human, vulnerable and interconnected in moments of crisis. He visited her in the hospital, bringing flowers more out of habit than protocol. She was sitting up, looking tired but regal, her sharp eyes now clear. "You were right about the board meeting," she said with a weak smile. "It was cancelled." They talked, not as paramedic and patient, but as two people who had shared a razor's edge. She asked about his work, and he found himself telling stories he usually kept locked away. As he left, she said, "Ethan, that night, you saw me at my absolute worst, stripped of all position and pretense. Not many people have. I won't forget that." He nodded, understanding the weight of what she was saying. It was a connection forged in emergency, one that transcended the usual boundaries. Dr. Ethan Porter had seen a lot, but this call, Isabel, reminded him why he rushed towards the crises others fled from. In the raw truth of human suffering, there was also the profound chance to connect, to matter, and to truly see another person. And sometimes, if you were very lucky, they saw you back. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Kindness True Stories, for more heartfelt narratives.